What's going on, guys? It's Suk and I am back once again with a brand new video on Super Duper Tech. And in today's video I'm going to be showing you the results that I got when benchmarking the 2019 MacBook Air. Now if you guys are interested in seeing how the MacBook Air performs when you throw a few games at it, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I release that video. But without any further ado, let's hit the titles. The first benchmarking application which I ran was Geekbench 4. Now Geekbench gives a score for both single and multi-threaded tasks, and after these tasks have been performed, it will then give a score based on its performance and the time taken to perform them. And on the single core side of things, I got a score of 4,199, whereas on the multi-core, I got a score of 7,767. Also, using Geekbench 4, I ran the compute test to see how well the OpenGL engine ran through Geekbench, and as you can see, the score that I got was 29,698. Now once again, using Geekbench 4, I ran a compute test again just to see how well the Metal engine ran through Geekbench, and as you can see, the score that I got in this test was 21,825. The next benchmarking application which I ran was the GFX Bench Metal test. Now GFX Bench runs a number of different tests which vary from higher and lower levels of intensity. And in the interest of saving time, I have averaged these results, but of course I'll show you a breakdown of each individual result. Now the average I got for each higher intensive task was around 26 frames per second, whereas for the lower I achieved an average of 63. Next, I performed an internal speed test on the SSD found on the MacBook Air and got a read speed of around 1,251 megabytes per second and a write of around 538. Next up, we have NovaBench. Now NovaBench is a good general benchmark as it tests not only the CPU and GPU but also the storage and the system memory. The score that I got in this test was 939. I then chose to perform a basic network speed test and got a download speed of 373 megabytes per second and an upload of 36.8 megabytes per second. Next, I ran Cinebench R20. Cinebench is a good benchmarking program as it tests each individual thread and then gives a score similarly to how Geekbench gives its scores based on the time taken to complete tasks. The score that I got for the MacBook Air was 591. Next, I did an export test using Final Cut Pro, exporting a 4K video file. That file was placed on both a 1080p and a 3840 timeline, with background rendering turned off. The time taken to export the Full HD or 1080p project was around 7 minutes and 42 seconds. But perhaps the most surprising thing of all is that the time taken to export the 4K or the 3840 timeline was around 7 minutes and 24 seconds. Now I have repeated this test multiple times, and in every instance the 4K export for some reason turns out to be a little faster. The last series of tests which I performed came from Unigen. The first of these was the Heaven benchmarking test, which is a heavy CPU and GPU
Once
test.
the test has been performed, it will then give a general score on its performance and the average frame rate for when rendering out a particular scene.
So the score that I got from Unigen Heaven was 385, whereas I got an average frame rate of around 15.2 frames per second. Once again from Unigen benchmarking tools, the last test I performed was the Valley test, which performs very similarly to the previous test. Now the score that I got for this was 657 with an average frame rate of around 15.7 frames per second.
Now it seems that MacBook's thermal throttling is all the talk of the town these days, so after running these benchmarking tests, I used Prime 95 to hit the MacBook's components as hard as possible. And though I wouldn't say it throttled itself, I would definitely say it's borderline. As you can see, it will dip below its base clock speed and then turbo above those base speeds. So then guys, that has been it for today's video. If you did enjoy the video, then be sure to leave it with a thumbs up rating, and if you are new around here, then why not subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload and release my next video. Also, if you guys have got any video suggestions or questions with what you've seen in today's video, then be sure to leave them down below in the comment section. Alternatively, you could also hit me up on my social media. Links to purchase anything that's featured in today's video can be found in the description section. But other than that guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.